Buford? Did I say that right?
Bufford. Bufford.
Bufford.
Present, currently in Superior Township, Michigan.
All right. John Katarski.
Present in Ann Arbor.
Mariana Porter.
Present in Ann Arbor.
Peggy Leonard.
Present in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Sophie Grell.
Present in Ann Arbor.
Wasenta Young.
Present in Ann Arbor.
And our council rep, Travis Redina, will not be attending tonight. So, Chairman, you have a quorum.
Excellent. So first and foremost, I want to welcome our new commissioners, Jamal Bufford and Marianetta Porter. Thank you for agreeing to join our commission. I thought it would be nice if we could welcome them all by doing brief introductions of ourselves and then asking them to do the same, just so they can get to know us all a little bit better, kind of get a little bit of information about our background and what we do, why we're here. So I'll start, I'll be the guinea pig, and then I'll call on people so you know when to unmute yourself. So I'm Allison Buck. I am the marketing director with the Guild of Artists and Artisans currently. We do the Ann Arbor Summer Art Fair. We do 7 other art fairs throughout Michigan and Ohio. We run the Gutman Gallery. Prior to that, I worked at the Ann Arbor Film Festival and the Arts Alliance and Art Train, and really got my feet wet in public art over at the Arts Alliance, doing a couple different public art projects, including the Canoe Imagine Art Project and the traffic boxes, and just fell in love with public art projects at that point, and really just wanted to make sure that public art remained present and important within Ann Arbor. So that's why I joined the commission. Joined about 4 years ago now, and have been chair. This will be my 3rd year, so I'll be rolling off at the end of this time. I would have Sarah go next, but she's not here. David, you're the next screen I see if you want to do your introductions.
Sure. I'm David Esau. I'm an architect with Cornerstone Design, a mix of single family, multifamily, and commercial architecture. Worked with a lot of nonprofits around town in particular. And I was on the Arts Alliance board for many years. That's me.
Thank you, David. I'll go over to Sophie next.
Hi, I'm an artist, and I live in Ann Arbor, and I organize West Side Art Hop, which is a local sort of art fair, art walk twice a year. And also I'm looking forward to going back to being a docent at UMA.
Fabulous. John, can you give us a little intro?
My name is John Katarski. I'm a retired educator. I've been on the Art Commission since 2012. Very interested in public spaces and how to enhance them. I had a public art practice in Flint for a decade or so. I call myself a recovering artist. But in any event, I haven't made art in a few years.
Thank you, John. Peggy, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Peggy Leonard. I'm an art teacher in the Ann Arbor Public Schools. And I think I've been on the commission. This is my 2nd year. Sophie would know. Sophie and I came on together. 2nd or 3rd. I don't know. With COVID, everything is just it's lasted forever. But anyway, I am passionate about everything that's art, but in particular, public art. And so I've really enjoyed being on the commission. I'd like to welcome both of you. Looking forward to working with you.
Thanks, Peggy. Wasenta, can you do an introduction too, please?
I'm Wasenta Young. I'm an artist. I focus on mosaics as an art form, and mosaics has always been has a longevity history in public art. And I have been enjoying seeing public art here and there throughout the city. So I wanted to participate on the commission, and Sophie invited me. And so here I am. I don't think it's been a year yet, but I'm getting closer to that.
Thank you. Before we move on to our new folks, Craig, can you do a brief introduction of yourself?
Yes, I'm Craig Hupy. I'm Public Services Area Administrator, which is an odd fit in the onto the Art Commission. But through the miracle of municipal government and structure, that's where the Art Commission falls. Anita Harrison, who's not here tonight, is the staff member and brains behind the city's running of the Art Commission. So I am merely acting as a poor substitute for her tonight.
Thank you, Craig. We will get to know Jennifer a little bit later. Marianetta, will you do an introduction for us?
Sure. I'm Marianetta Porter. I'm a mixed media artist. Most of my work revolves around African-American history, culture, and identity. I work with a lot of different materials. I'm also a professor at the Stamp School of Art and Design at the University of Michigan, which I just recently stepped down and retired June 1. So I'm a professor emeritus at the Stamp School of Art and Design. I'm very excited to work with you. I've always been passionate about art, and I'm really interested in learning more about art in public spaces.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
And welcome. Jamal, can you do an introduction for us, please?
Yes, thank you, Allison. Jamal Bufford. I am a hip hop recording artist, so I'm more of an audio artist, and I am the project specialist for Washtenaw County My Brother's Keeper, which is a nonprofit organization started by Barack Obama, and it is focused on cradle to career pathways for boys, Black and brown boys, men of color, of all ages, trying to help counter some of the barriers that we face, whether it be criminal justice system, the education system, economic inequity. Been in this role for about a year and a half now. Been making music for well over 25 years. I've performed in 15 countries, performed all over the United States. And music led me to doing youth work, sharing my love for hip hop with young people in Ann Arbor Public Schools. From Ann Arbor, went to Ann Arbor Public Schools, went to the University of Michigan. Yeah, and I guess that's about it. Thankful for this opportunity to be nominated and working with you all, and I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you. I'm very excited to have you both on board, and we'll hopefully not scare you off in our first meeting.
Well, I actually should add that you are going to scare me off. I actually do have to depart a little bit early. I apologize. It is my 5th wedding anniversary with my wife, so have reservations. I have to dip out a little bit early. I apologize for that.
That's okay. Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So the next thing on our agenda is our approval of agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Thank you, David. And a second. I saw John's hand go up. John, you second?
Yes.
Any discussion of the agenda? No? Okay. All in favor of the agenda? Any opposed? Great. We will go on to public comment then. We are very lucky to have, oh, I'm sorry, Craig, Sarah just joined us in the attendees. If you can promote her to a panelist so she can participate. I know she was.
I will gladly do so.
And Jennifer is welcome, or is here from the Ypsilanti Arts Commission. And I know she has some slides. And I saw Craig make you a host, so you might be able to share them.
All right, let me get them. I'm gonna. Accept. Hang on a second. Oh, hang on. Can you see the slides?
No, we can't see them right now.
Okay, hang on a second.
Do you have the option share screen at the bottom? Hey, Sarah. Jennifer, maybe while you play, Sarah,
Yeah,
we went through and we did introductions of ourselves for the new folks. Do you want to do a quick introduction of yourself just so everyone else can hear it?
Yes, absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. I think I had the wrong link. So thank you, Allison, for sending that over. So I am relatively new to the commission, but I've been working with the arts for my entire career. I worked in performing arts as a kid growing up in theater, dance, and music, and studied art history in college. And I've been working with galleries in sales and marketing of art since then, and currently work running the retail department of Motawi Tile Works, and joined the Art Commission about a year ago.
And is now vice chair. All right, Jennifer, take it away.
Yes, Jennifer, I am
Yes.
the one sharing, so when you want to advance, just let me know.
You know, Craig, you are my new best friend. Thank
But
you
don't
so
ask
much.
me how I did it, because I can't.
I think it was a
reproduce
miracle. So meant to be. I think you know more about Zoom than you think you do. So, hello, everyone. I am absolutely delighted to be in the Zoom room with you today to kind of start what I'm hoping is going to be an ongoing conversation and opportunity for collaboration between our two arts commissions for the city of Ann Arbor and the city of Ypsilanti. And I'm excited that Allison is going to be joining us at our August 19th meeting, also on Zoom this month to kind of kick things off. So Allison, thank you for the invitation. And I'm actually feeling like this is a little bit of old home week because I've crossed paths with so many of you on the Arts Commission in Ann Arbor over time. So if you can go ahead and advance, Craig. A little bit about me. That's me on the left with the cup head and the green hair. A little bit of a different look in this photo. But I am super excited to be the inaugural chair of the City of Ypsilanti's Art Commission. We're just kind of coming up on our first year of actual meeting activities. And in the rest of my life, that does take more time than I thought that it would in all sorts of good ways, which we can dive into. But in the rest of my life, I'm currently serving as executive director of a local nonprofit arts organization, Wonderful Productions. We are a local community-based nonprofit that is focused on building and connecting community through the power of arts and creativity. And you probably know us best as producer of the Full Moon Luminary Festival and the Festivals Puppet Street Theater that happen in downtown Ann Arbor in April. And in Ypsilanti, we're coming up on our annual Ypsi Glow event, which is very similar to the Full Moon Festival in Ann Arbor. I've been in this role since fall of 2019, kind of just pre-COVID. And prior to that, I had served as president and CEO of what was Art Serve Michigan and repositioned as Creative Many Michigan, leading statewide advocacy and professional practice supports for the arts and creative industries statewide. And I'm a lifelong champion for the power of arts and creativity in our daily lives, in the education of our kids, and how we connect as communities, just in transforming possibilities for people of all ages. And here in Michigan, I really got my start years ago as Economic Development Director and DDA Director for the city of Ypsilanti, during which I was able to be part of the early kind of development of the Riverside Arts Center on Huron Street in downtown Ypsi. I love everything about creativity. A little bit about our commission. We are, by comparison to your commission, very new. We're kind of newbies in this space. We were created by city ordinance in January of 2020, just a couple of months before COVID hit. And as a result, we've only met by Zoom, which is a super challenging way to get to know people and get our feet wet in this work. But we were established in a similar way to the Ann Arbor Commission as an advisory body to our mayor, our city council, and city manager. And it actually says in our ordinance that we're responsible for advising on all things art in Ypsilanti. We are comprised right now of 9 members. We can have as little as 5, as many as 9, including 1 non-city resident. That spot is currently held by Lynn Settles, the former Ypsilanti High School art teacher who recently retired. And we're able to also include 2 non-voting youth members. Those positions have not yet been filled. We had our first meeting in June of 2020. As I said, we've been doing everything remotely, which has been a bit of a challenge. But what's been super exciting for us is that, unlike in many communities, when there's kind of a groundswell, whether it's coming from the community at large or the artistic community, for a city to establish an arts commission, we certainly have that in Ypsilanti. But our Arts Commission was really an effort that was led by our former mayor, Mayor Beth Bichert, and City Council, who really saw the importance of having a leadership group at the city level to guide and really infuse our city with the importance of arts and creativity. And so it's a kind of a bit of a different dynamic in getting started, but it positions us, I think, very well for our work moving forward, that we have such solid support and excitement from our city leadership team as we're getting started. That's definitely been a big benefit for us. We have a long checklist. I can dive a little bit into some of our specific responsibilities. I think they really mirror the Ann Arbor Public Art Commission roles and responsibilities. But kind of overall, our charge as an advisory group is to promote, the importance of arts, creative industries, creativity as part of our community DNA, as part of economic development, as part of what makes Ypsilanti an amazing place to live, work, and explore. We're charged with helping to educate and building awareness around that with the broader community, cultivating opportunities for the arts really to thrive and to prosper in our community. And overarching all of that is upholding our city values of diversity, pride, and heritage, and with a really sharp focus on helping to further city aims on providing inclusivity and access through our public art and creative experiences. Can advance, Craig. So our development of our ordinance and our kind of charge of responsibilities was kind of really led by the city attorney, who did a lot of research, also looked at the Ann Arbor ordinance as one of the community models in crafting the city of Ypsilanti's model. But in general, while we have like 3 pages of to-dos on our checklist, they really kind of distill into these broad categories of the commission being responsible first and foremost for developing a strategic cultural arts master plan, public art plan, and the related policies and procedures, right, to guide development, locations, calls for art, review of proposals in public spaces, keeping an eye on the importance of maintenance, and really focusing that advisory role in all things art that are happening in public spaces, places, the public realm. We have no budget at present. And one of our charges, which is a little bit of a challenge in getting our feet wet and getting started, is that we're responsible both for generating funding and cultivating funding opportunities, funding partnerships, helping to advise city staff, the city manager on those kinds of funding investment possibilities. We do have the opportunity to request annual budget allocations as well as part of the city budget process. We are charged with identifying and cultivating collaborative opportunities with public-private partners, right, at all kind of levels, local, regional, state, national, thinking of like ways to partner with Eastern Michigan University or Washtenaw County or the Huron River Watershed Council or various nonprofits, kind of that full range. The city also has a very important, I think, goal for using the Arts Commission to advise city staff on opportunities to infuse and engage arts and creative opportunities as part of our economic and community development strategies. One of the kind of current opportunities in this regard is the Water Street redevelopment project, which has a new developer that looks pretty serious in doing a mixed development in that area along the Huron River and adjacent to the downtown on the east side. We're working with the city and with the developer, kind of advising on different ways that they could plan to accommodate public art as part of their ultimate design planning and for that space. We have an overall charge for building community awareness of the power of art and creativity as part of education of our youth, right? Doing that through strategic communications, working as advocates for this platform and this agenda within our community. And I'm sure similar to probably what you're responsible for, we have annual, right, reporting requirements, budget request opportunities, coordinating with our city leadership team. And I think one of the challenges that we face, I don't think it's unlike your commission and other groups that do the work that we do in communities, we're limited not only by budget, but by staff capacity. We're very grateful that we've been assigned an amazing staff liaison, Elise Jacobson, who's wearing, I think, at least 3 hats in city government, primarily working as the Downtown Development Authority coordinator and as the city's public engagement specialist. But perhaps more importantly, Elise is a amazing, talented, practicing local artist, co-founder of Alloy Studios off of West Michigan Avenue. And so she brings not only like the connection to public process and city, right, ins and outs, but she brings that voice of local artists and all of those relationships as well, which has been super valuable. Okay, Craig, you can zip ahead. So we've had kind of, this last year has been crazy for all of us in a lot of different ways. And it certainly has been challenging to find the right ways to kind of get to know each other as a commission, to kind of wrap our arms around our responsibilities as an advisory board, kind of get going on all of those planning functions. You know, again, doing all of that with kind of limited staff capacity, funding capabilities, and not really being able to be in community with our community. And so one of the important things that we've been focusing on, really kind of got started on this spring, is to organize a online community and artist survey that we're looking to launch this fall, that will be a baseline kind of invitation to the community, from the general community wanting to understand what community interests are with relation to public art and the arts in general, how our community is interacting and participating, engaging in the arts and creative experiences. And then with a targeted invitation to listen to our local artists, you know, understanding who they are, who's practicing, what are their disciplines, you know, are they able to, do they have to juggle 3 jobs to, right, sustain their creative practice, what keeps them up at night, and what they need to thrive and stay in our community. And we're, again, eyeing this for a fall launch, using an opportunity to kind of hone in at this kind of what we were hoping was going to be a post-pandemic, right, moment. Like, we're still putting masks back on, but like, we're getting closer to that moment. Like, in that time, what do we need to know as we're thinking about setting goals and priorities and plans for the commission and for the city's public art initiative? What do we need to listen to really begin laying those groundworks? I'm sure that once we are able to be back in the room with community, we're going to be supplementing this kind of online survey work with in-person open meetings, you know, focus groups, those kinds of things. But we were very grateful to have had an opportunity to connect with the Emily Hall Tremaine Foundation in Connecticut, thanks to a relationship that I had from Creative Many. They're a national group that, if you're not familiar with them, I would encourage you to absolutely check them out. They have an initiative called Artists Thrive, which is a national platform providing survey tools for self-assessment and kind of collective assessment that artists can take to kind of identify kind of what they need to do to thrive, like set their goals. And for organizations like ours or other nonprofits that engage with artists, to be able to really assess how we're doing in that role, how do we need to improve to really, truly, effectively and smartly support artists and collectively help the artists and arts thrive in our communities. So the Tremaine Foundation has offered us a little bit of money. I think the grant at this point is only about $4,000, but it's going to support like the efforts for doing SurveyMonkey and being able to do some reporting and assessment and communications to get the word out, both on the invitation to participate as well as sharing the results. So that's really a key focus right now. And admittedly, it's taking us a little bit long kind of coordinating all of this remotely, but excited to be able to share that experience with you as we go forward. That then leads to, informing the development of our public art plan and policies that we really need to guide our commission in leading in this advisory role for the city. So we've kind of been holding on this until we hear from the community. But one of the things that has kind of taken a step forward is that there has been quite a bit of interest in a more immediate opportunity to develop an incentive program that would kind of encourage street art performance, busking within kind of the downtown districts of our community. And so that's been kind of moving ahead of the rest of the planning process. These are areas where we would be absolutely thrilled to be able to learn from you, because you've been working in this space a whole lot longer than we have been. And then the other kind of amazing and interesting, but sometimes challenging dynamic that is just our reality right now is we seem to be in this moment where doing public art, whether it's private murals or it's groups that are wanting to do creative things in public spaces, it's kind of like contagious. It's a good contagious thing right now during a COVID moment. And so we've had just like property owners that are wanting to enlist artists, and we have groups that are doing things in public spaces. And so we've been in a position having to advise on projects before we have plans and policies and guidelines in place, which has been a little challenging. We're kind of building it as we go, I guess I would say. And so we can go to the next slide and I can jump into some of those example projects. So, and they're pretty cool projects too that have been presented to us in this quick year that we've been started. The two top ones, first, the IPSI Black Lives Matter Street Mural Project. This project was organized by Survivor Speaks activist and founder Trisha Duckworth, who was working in partnership with two local artists, Barney Judge and Trevor Stone. Trevor being a former program coordinator, local artist from Ann Arbor, but also with roots at the Riverside Arts Center. And I want to say they approached us initially back in December, January of like at the break of the 2021 New Year to propose the creation of community created and installed Black Lives Matter murals for the heart of our town. And there was a tremendous degree of community support. The city was solidly on board to support this. And ultimately, the commission recommended approval of two locations for the BLM murals. The downtown location is on the south block of Washington Street between Michigan Avenue and Pearl Street, right by the parking lot and Dolores, the new taqueria that just reopened. And the second one is on the entrance to Riverside Park off of East Cross Street in Depot Town. These projects moved with rapid fire speed through the review and the community organizing process, including fundraising. The city did not allocate funding to support these. The funds that were totally grassroots community crowdsource funding, largely done on Facebook. And the murals were installed in late May in preparation for unveiling as part of the Juneteenth celebration in June 19th. Where there was a whole community creative celebration, music performances and such that happened. So I have some other photos of these as well. I think the one kind of dynamic for these murals, particularly the one that's downtown, is in trying to locate them on a street that didn't require state MDOT, Michigan Department of Transportation approval. the city wanted us to focus on locations that were city jurisdiction streets. And the Washington Street location was ultimately selected for that reason because it was in the heart of downtown. But that's also currently part of the blocks that are closed for outdoor dining. So at the current moment, you can't really get the full feeling of that downtown mural as much as you can the one that's at Riverside Park. So for that to be our first project success and accomplishment with the community is incredibly meaningful, as I'm sure you can understand. The second major project that was brought forward, again, just before the turn of the new year, was the Ypsilanti Community School Student Streetscape Banner Project. And this was a result of a prior curated exhibition of all ages student artwork that was selected to be exhibited at the U.S. Department of Education in Washington, D.C. in May of 2020. And the focus was on really the importance of racial equity and social justice. And a powerful group of student works of, again, all ages that were curated for that exhibit. And what happened? COVID hit, and the student artwork did not end up going to DC, and the community funds that were raised to support the students and their families traveling to DC to be part of the opening, none of that happened. And so the school district, Kathy Fisk, our fine arts coordinator, worked with the other community funding partners to reimagine how we might celebrate this amazing exhibition of student artwork and put it in the public realm. And ultimately, the concept of designing streetscape banners that today, if you come to Ypsilanti, maybe you've seen them, they're in the downtown, Depot Town, and West Cross Street districts. All of the, I think there are 58 images are presented in that way. It was a bit of a challenging from a design standpoint, challenging with the variety of sizes and scales and quality of the artwork. It was somewhat challenging to translate that into streetscape banners, but the commission and the community partners felt very strongly that that was a worthwhile sacrifice to make in being able to bring the visibility and to celebrate the students and the young artists, and for them to be able to feel that community support around the works that they had contributed. So those will be up for a while. And I think this was another example of us kind of building as we go, because this project then sparked the Ypsilanti DDA to have to revisit how they entertain streetscape banner creative proposals. And so there's a whole new policy now that allows the banners to be used as another form of artistic expression by other groups and artists. And then finally, as I kind of mentioned before, kind of all of our bigger work has really been focused on reviewing these projects that are being presented to us to move forward, advising the city manager and the mayor and city council. You can go ahead, Craig. So I talked about the BLM project and the streetscape banners. The other thing that has been a bit of both an opportunity and a challenge for us as an advisory commission is as part of the Downtown Development Authority's efforts and the city efforts to support street art, performance, music, other forms of creative experiences in the heart of our downtown. Last year during COVID, when the streets were closed, they very quickly kind of endorsed and allowed groups in Depot Town and on the North Washington block, some of the restaurants and bars in that area to put stages on the street and just begin to program activities to enhance that outdoor dining experience. This year, they're formalizing the permitting process for that. Kind of oddly, the permit that the Arts Commission has to review is a noise permit for amplification of music. And there are weekends when you can apply for amplification, and the other days of the week, you can only do non-amplified music. We've been in kind of an ongoing dialogue with city staff about the importance of kind of relaxing those limitations to be able to encourage more accessibility and more variety of experience within the community. But they're also balancing the concerns from downtown district residents who complain about the noise. So it's kind of been a bigger conversation. We're trying to figure out the right role. Oddly, while the Arts Commission role might better be positioned to advise on like a slate of programs that would, give us an opportunity to weigh in on diversity of like musical genre or different artistic disciplines or accessibility of community voice. Pretty much what at this point we're reviewing is who's requested which dates on the summer calendar, and we don't get any of the other information and actually what the programming is that's being presented. So it's a starting point of, I think, what is a learning opportunity and an opportunity for us to kind of help guide the city on how we could play a more meaningful role. Go ahead, Craig. And I'm almost done because I know you have an agenda. So just a couple of quick photo images. This is kind of a shot of the Washington Street BLM mural. Not a very good photo. I was short on photos as I came back from vacation today to pull this together from you. But we had a lot of people from across the community that came out, and we're super excited to help put the paint on the pavement. Next. This is an aerial view of the BLM mural on South Washington Street. Okay. An aerial view, a pretty amazing aerial view of the mural in Riverside Park. A view of another example of the banners, these in Depot Town. And then some of the other things that are kind of speaking to kind of the excitement group stepping up. If you haven't had an opportunity, one of the other performance opportunities that's happening this summer is Johnny Lawrence, the local jazz great out of Ypsilanti, formerly at Washtenaw Community College, is hosting a summer Friday night jazz series in Riverside Park that is happening right in the public park space. It's been happening every Friday night through the summer on the days when we've had all the crazy rain. It's moved to the Ypsilanti Freight House in Depot Town. And the crowds, you can look to the next slide. The crowds for this are every week. It's like, it feels like it's doubling every week. I imagine that by this Friday, it'll be a bigger crowd and more masks, given the county's recommendations today. But I think that this is testament to there is such community just hunger for coming back together in this moment right now. I mean, I think it's there in general, but it's more so this year than ever. And to really celebrate the power of our artistic talent and the creativity in our community. This is Black Jake and the Carnies, which is another downtown performance group that Ziggy's on the alley off of Michigan Avenue in the downtown district performs or programs around the Ipsiglo kind of Halloween time frame. A huge draw. in the community, but a kind of an example of a whole different kind of musical experience. And then an example, this one from last year's Ipsy in October, this actually being a group of Ann Arbor homeschool kids that were homeschooling more than normal last year during COVID, called the 19 Nerds, that did a temporary installation using paper cups, like solo cups, in the chain link fence at Ypsilanti City Hall as you're coming into town. That was illuminated at night as well, and making their statement about the importance of diversity and inclusion and racial equity. So just to kind of quickly wrap up, I think that I was super excited when Allison reached out. We'd worked together years past when she was at Arts Alliance and I was at Creative Many. Exciting to think about the power and the opportunities that we have as commissions in two neighboring communities. We have our unique charges, and yet we have so many opportunities, I think, to learn from each other and to be able to exchange, right, ideas, models, experiences. When we're struggling with something in Ypsilanti and not sure kind of which way to go, I am really grateful that you're there, that we can reach out to you. And I think there's a great opportunity for us to have an ongoing kind of dialogue. I don't know, call me crazy. I'm a passionate arts advocate at heart. And I think that, like, collectively, the energy and the passion that we bring in our respective communities and together for the power of public art in place in individual experiences of how we connect as a community and define, right, the places we call home. I think that, like, there's a tremendous opportunity into the future for how we might unite that voice broadly, building broader community awareness, community connections. I just strategically and probably sassily put this picture in deliberately. This is a street mural that was created by Treetown Murals with wonderful productions for this spring's full moon celebration in April. And it was an amazing design process that Treetown Murals engaged with Ann Arbor Public School teachers and students, who created 300 plus designs, mandala designs, radial designs that inspired this mural that was installed the weekend before full moon on the intersection of Main and Liberty Streets. And, the city was determined that it not be permanent. And we used paint products that we thought were going to be at least somewhat lasting into at least through the summer season. And sadly, we had one of those horrific rainstorms the day after it was completed and lost so much of that amazing work. Treetown came that week and kind of fixed it up, but it was not as detailed as it was when it was finished. And it actually, for full moon, if you were there, we used lots of sidewalk chalk and light up hula hoops, and it became kind of a interactive community, safely distanced art experience for kids of all ages that night. But I think this is kind of an example of the type of conversation together we could spark in both of our communities. And, we are completely open to the opportunities for, what other ways as neighboring commissions and lovers of public art might we join voices, support each other. We are really part of a bigger community region, and the powerful work that you do and that you support in your community benefits us as much as Ypsilanti and vice versa. So again, as I mentioned in the beginning, super excited about this being the start of an ongoing conversation and collaboration and partnership with you.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. Sophie, I have to thank you. Sophie first brought to our attention the fact that you guys existed and that you were coming about, and kind of pushed us to say, hey, let's get to know them. Let's figure this out. And I'm really excited. I think that we can inspire and support one another in lots of different ways and hopefully like collaborate. I think that Jennifer and I are planning to grab coffee every once in a while and just kind of compare notes. But I also think like hopefully we can as commissions do that as well. I think we will face a lot of the same sorts of challenges and opportunities, so that we can kind of build on each other and kind of inspire one another and help each other along the way, hopefully.
We're all in.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions for Jennifer? I see Sophie, your hand's up.
Yeah, I think that was a very inspiring list of amazing achievements in a short time. And I think there were some great ideas in there that we could probably think about ourselves, like they have 2 non-voting youth members. And I think there was the idea of the lamppost banners, which I think we've had some engagement with, but we could maybe do more with that. And yeah, I love the idea of collaborating maybe a little bit more formally from time to time, so that we do have meetings and think about things we could do together, because obviously more is bigger sometimes, and might be able to pack more punch. Who knows?
Definitely. Vasantha.
So I was very excited listening to you and hearing of all your accomplishments and how you were so inclusive of diverse expressions in art. And so, I think there's lots of room for crossroads, between us. So thank you.
Amen. And I have to say that, I want to be sure that it's clear that like the accomplishments were not the commissions, right? I mean, we just happen to be blessed with the charge of being advisors in a moment where we have amazing community members that are stepping forward to make amazing creative things happen. And so like the role that we have that I take really pretty seriously is like, how can we make that as easy as possible, right? And help the city see ways where they can streamline normal policies and permitting and things, so that we can really make it easy to be creative in our town.
Definitely. Any other questions for Jennifer before she goes about the rest of her evening? I mean, you're welcome to stay and listen to our whole meeting if you want.
Might.
Okay, you're welcome to, for sure. I can't promise it'll be as entertaining as your presentation, though. Although we are going to go over our annual report, so who knows?
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Vasantha, are you raising your hand?
I'm apologizing for having to step out because my mom is.
Okay, no worries.
Calling me. All right.
All right, so we will move on to next on our agenda is our approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Sarah, thank you. Do I have a second? Peggy, thank you. Is there any discussion of the minutes from last meeting? No, fabulous. Seeing no discussion, do I have all of everyone's approval of the minutes? All in favor? Yep. Anyone opposed? Great. Let's see. Next is old business, which doesn't have anything. New business is review and approve the annual report. So you may remember that we discovered we forgot to do the annual report last year and no one said boo. So we just combined them this year. So this is 2 years of an annual report of what we've been doing pretty much through the pandemic. So the annual report follows the fiscal calendar. So it's that fun like June to July report. And hopefully you all got a chance to read it over. David sent in lots of great notes, which I have incorporated, grammar stuff, changing names so that they're spelled right. Thank you. And things like that. Nothing at the meat of things, though. I wanted to open up the discussion if there was anything specifically you guys thought I just categorically forgot or just didn't define well or anything in the report or feedback you guys had. David.
I thought overall it covered it our last 2 years really well. It was just little details to make it read better, I thought.
Yep, and I went ahead and I already put all those changes in my Word version, my Google Word version. So I will PDF that and get it back to Benita. All right, I guess if there's no discussion, we can, do I have a motion to approve the annual report? David, do I have a second? John, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Great. We have an annual report. Yay, that'll go off to City Council and hopefully they'll all, be enamored with all the wonderful things that we've been doing and just, all want to come to our meetings. Everyone's going to be thrilled, right? Next on our agenda is report from staff. Will you be handling those, Craig?
Seeing as I am it for staff today, I will be handling.
Great.
Actually, 4 items, 3 on the agenda. Pickle Street mural project has been withdrawn. I understand the principals are leaving the area. So I feel that's a loss, but that's my personal statement on that. Next, the water treatment plant stairwell project is finally moving and on schedule. The Ann Arbor.
Craig, can you just,
Yes.
I can or you can just give
Yeah, no,
everyone a
you
little bit of
can.
background?
You can say where it's at. I believe it's on the call for art right now.
Okay, so the project itself, I'll just bring Marionette up to speed, is at the water treatment plants, which is, I don't know exactly where it's located. It's over
919 Sunset.
Where's that?
It is near the
By a
corner
dam,
of,
isn't it?
It's near the corner of Sunset and Newport.
Okay. So anyways, they do a lot of tours in a normal year in their building for students. And so they have a stairwell that is inclusive in that tour. And they wanted to put a mural in it. And they are hoping to have a mural that shows kind of the history of the building and water treatment plants in general. And they have this great proposal that they've put together. I am blanking on his name. I want to say Greg, but that's not it.
Glenn
has come to us in a couple meetings, and he has presented their call for art and their process and how they're going to select the work. And we've reviewed that with him. And so they've put out the call, you said, Craig?
If it's not out, it's soon to be out.
Okay. And I believe they will be asking someone from the commission to participate in the selection process.
Yes.
So if anyone's interested, that'll be coming up pretty soon.
And maybe a little background so the new commissioners understand why this project in this location. Much of the funding that we get to sort of direct toward art comes off the CIP, and there is CIP work going on at the water plant, and they carved a piece of it out for this art in the stairwell. And while Glenn is an engineer, I think some of us think he's done very well at art. The Manchester water tank near the Washtenaw Stadium split was one of his projects that was put out on the street. So we have hopes for this project.
Yeah, Glenn and I actually crossed paths way back when, and I did the Canoe Imagine project. He was an engineer at Stantec when we were, and one of the engineers that approved the Canoe Fan Foundation and all that stuff. So he's been around the public art for a while.
And the background on that is that's where we learned that, and on the Stadium Bridges art, we learned that no disrespect, but the heck with the art, the whole project is really about foundations.
It's an expensive portion of the art, yes.
Yes. The Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation funds are in hand and available for your use.
Great.
After much back and forth of how to do it and get the right people to sign off as the city was in transition, but it is now available for you. The other one that is not on your list is the street murals. I know Councilmember Radina has had conversations with the attorney's office, and the attorney's office has provided him privileged communications. And when Councilmember Radina attends, he can share with the group what is being proposed or what's going forward.
So that's the Black Lives Matter street
Correct.
mural that we got the presentation
Yeah,
from?
it would be street murals, not only that one, but street murals in general going forward.
Oh, cool.
It would be what to deal with what Jennifer faced on the full moon one was the current code requires temporary art. And what are the options for getting around that or changing it to allow more permanent art? So that is happening.
Great. So by that is happening, I'm assuming you mean changes are happening that we might be happy about?
I can't say because I'm not fully in the discussion between the attorney's office and the council member. I just know that they're occurring and options are being put forward to the council.
All right. Well, good. We're challenging that then, at the very least. Sophie, I see your hand.
Yeah, I think the water treatment plant mural deadline was July 31st, which was too short for me, as is so often the case. But yeah, so that one, they should have had their applications in.
Okay.
It's on the city website. I don't remember how I came upon it, but I did see it eventually, and I think it was a bit too late for me. But yeah, I think deadlines are always too short as far as I'm concerned.
Well, hopefully they got enough applicants.
I hope so, yeah.
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you. Does anyone have any questions about those updates from Craig before we move on to our working groups? Okay, so with our working groups tonight, if we don't have a specific update, like you haven't met recently, if you can just tell us a little bit about what your working group is and who is participating in that working group, and kind of give an overview so that Marianetta can get familiar with them, that would be helpful. So the business owners and development work group is the first one on our list. John, I think you get to head that one up.
Yes, thank you. This work group tries to inspire public art paid for by private developers. And one of the ways in which we do that is a member of this group serves on the design review board and has an opportunity to recommend or discuss ways in which their project can include public art. In addition to that, we have a public art idea book and a best practices sort of list. That I'm on that work group, and I'm not sure, Sophie, are you on that work group with me? I don't know who else is on the work group. David, are you on that work group with me? Yes, David is on the work group.
I think
Jonah,
Mary was, and
Mary and Jonah was.
yeah, and they're both gone
I think
now.
they're no longer on that work group. So David and myself.
I'm sure I'm on another group, but I'm blanking on which one it was now.
I think you're on the special projects.
I am on that one, I know, but I
Yeah,
thought I was on
yeah.
something else too, and I just can't think what it was now.
Exactly. But in any event, the design review board only meets when there are projects that are being developed within the DDA boundaries. They have not met for the past couple of months. And so therefore I have nothing more to report.
Great. Well, thank you, John, for being our voice at those meetings when they do happen. We appreciate it. Capital improvement projects. David, do you have any updates, or can you actually give us a little background about that group?
Sure. The Capital Improvements Project Working Group is basically one of the few mandated requirements for this commission. The city annually issues an updated capital improvements plan list of major projects that they're planning to work on. Some years
when you hear CIP, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. We'll hear CIP all the time. That's it.
Some years it's a major update, some years it's a minor update. And a lot of it is roads and sewers and things like that are a little hard to decorate with art. But we look for projects on that list that seem like they might be suitable for public art and recommend them for enhancement. So the CIP comes out typically in mid-December every year, and we try to get a plan together in the last couple of weeks of the year in early January. So that this commission can vote to move it on to the council. So the rest of the year, we don't have a lot to work on. So we don't have anything new to update at this point, but since our last meeting, but that's what we do.
Great. I know last time you had mentioned there was a fire station project that was moving forward. Do you know anything more about that project?
I have not heard anything about any of the projects.
Okay.
Were you referring to a
southeast part of town? Yeah, you're on Parkway.
Okay, I don't know the status of that, but there was one for a mural on a fire station door, but they changed to a glass door, so the mural project went away.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that one, but this fire station was just starting early design, so there wasn't much to do. There wasn't going to be much to do with it for a while.
Got it.
I think some of the building might have been postponed due to the pandemic, but it's an interesting building in that I think they're building it with the idea that there's net zero emissions.
Yes.
So when that opportunity comes back around, I think it would be a great idea. We had the sustainability grant monies that were potentially offered to us, and we were looking for a project to fit that with, and perhaps pairing those together could make that move forward even faster, inspire art to be considered as we move forward in that project. But I know that the pandemic has, influenced some scheduling, so we can always revisit that.
Right. Okay. David, do you have anything else before I move on?
I don't think so. No. Thank you.
And let's see, we've got the communications work group next, which has myself and Sarah and Peggy are on that group. We haven't met recently. We've been kind of holding off to focus our attention on using the funds from the community foundation once those are available. And now they are. A focus of ours is going to be doing the announcement of the Golden Paintbrush Award. So we haven't done that yet. So those funds will be used to do that, as well as just general communication about the collection. So we have our work cut out for us in the next couple of months as we look at that communication work. I know, Marianetta, we had talked with you a little bit about that group maybe being an important one for you to participate with, as far as your background with education, and that being a key portion of communicating and advocating about our public art collection, and maybe a good fit. So I don't know if you're still considering that one or not, but we'd love to have you. Let's see, the fundraising work group is next. I think that's myself and Sarah. We haven't raised any funds recently, but hopefully as we do more advocacy work. I know that I saw somewhere that Vanita, I think, applied for that sustainability grant for us, so that could be potentially in there. We'll see. The leadership forum work group has not met. The leadership forum is, the concept is that we'll have community members participate within this leadership forum to act as our liaisons within the community to talk about, advocate, support public art. They will meet with us at least once a year. We'll also use them as a source to communicate emails through, talking about our collection, talking about what we're doing, and sort of be an exterior voice for us, both internally and externally, communicating with the community about what we're doing, but then also giving us feedback and telling us what they're hearing and what their interests are, and being another platform for us to communicate with our public. The idea is that it might be a stepping stone either onto the commission or off of the commission. So for folks who are kind of worn out and don't want to be on the commission anymore, but still want to participate with us, they could roll into the leadership forum. But also the other way around, if people are a little hesitant about joining the commission full term, but they want to kind of get their feet wet and kind of figure out what we're all about, they could join also the leadership forum and see what we're about, and then kind of roll into a position in a future date. Does that kind of define what we've been talking about in that group? Is there anything I missed, guys? Okay, I think that group, Deb Mexicott was our former vice chair. She's going to still kind of provide some insight and voice on that group, and I'm on that group, and John's on that group. Peggy, are you on that group too?
I think I was on that group too, yeah.
Okay, great. Glad to hear it. Let's see. The next group we have is nominations and leadership review. These are kind of two separate groups because we have to nominate more people to come onto the commission, but we're full now, which is exciting. And I think the next roll around, if we've got our dates right, aren't until May of next year, I think. I'll have to pester Vanita to pester me when we should be looking at that again. And Sophie, you have your hand up.
I was just thinking that since most of us are on multiple groups and there seems to be quite a lot of things, do we need to be one or two people bigger?
Well, going one or two people bigger would involve changing our bylaws, which I think if we are interested in doing, we could talk about doing. I think having more people might give us more energy and more ability, or it might not. I don't know, honestly. David?
Would it be possible for us to have non-commission members on committees if they were interested in working on something?
Yes, Deb's staying on with the leadership forum. So, and almost like advisors to working groups and advisors to us. I think that also might work with the leadership forum as a way for people to kind of interact back and forth between that group as well. So that's a great point.
Is there a formal way that works, or do you just say to the committee groups that they can just grab somebody off the street, or how does it work?
I do not believe there's any formal way that it works. It's just probably
permission first.
It's probably like project based.
Yes.
I mean, if you're working on a special project, for example, that you wanted to ask one of the former Gold Paintbrush Award people, like, how was your experience or something like that? I mean, I don't think you need the commission's, like, yes, you can talk to other people. John?
I think there's a provision in our bylaws that'll allow us, the commission, to appoint people to serve in a variety of capacities. So I think that any of the working groups can informally engage and involve people. But if we wanted to actually appoint a non-commissioner to a working group, we do that. We have the capacity to do that. It would come about, I'm imagining, is that the chair would recommend to the entire art commission the appointment of this particular person. We would vote on it, and they would serve on that group.
Craig.
Backtracking a little bit, you were asking about when the next expiration of terms are, and it looks like end of May 22, June 1 of 22. Appears one is in May 31st and one is June 1st. Why that split, I don't know, but at least that time frame in 22.
Yes, I think that's also when my term as chair will end. So everyone can think about that.
Well, I don't know, but the sheet shows you May of 23. I don't know if that's an extra year's penalty, or opportunity.
Oh, yeah, and I guess we usually vote for chair and vice chair at the end of the annual year. So we'll figure it out.
But just wanted to bring those dates to your mind.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, nominations and leadership. So I'm sorry, before we go back to that, does everyone kind of get a feel of how we could add people if we wanted to, as far as adding them to work groups if we had potential folks that were interested? Sarah?
I mean, bringing back the idea of the non-voting youth members, I think would be a great way also to add to that. And to be honest, I mean, we have the youth working group, but we also have the nominations and leadership working group. And either one of those working groups could probably take the lead on getting that process started or work together. But I think that would be a wonderful thing to add, especially coming out of a pandemic year where we've had, kids just have a completely different school experience, and adding something like this, an opportunity like this, could be really, really beneficial.
Yeah, we want the teens participating, not just from government who had to come sit through us and get our signature for going to a public meeting. Yes. So, okay, so that is work that either that group or the youth outreach group could be working on. In general, nominations and leadership are either nominating new people to join the commission as people roll off, or they are reviewing the leadership on an annual basis with the rest of the commissioners, doing a quick survey and saying, how did they do? And are we going to re-up them? Is there other people that are interested? Are they rolling off? That kind of stuff. And the nominations work group is predominantly the chair and vice chair. The leadership review has been John, and John, who worked with you? Was it Peggy that worked with you on that?
I think Jonah, but
Jonah's gone now.
He's off, right?
So policy and governance work group has not met about anything in particular, although it sounds like Travis is taking on city attorney's office and working with them about getting some policies changed for the better of more permanent art installations in streets. So that's good. Hopefully we'll hear some good updates about that coming soon. That group is predominantly Sarah and myself. But if anyone has interest in that kind of thing, policy and governance, we'd love to have you join us. I know, David, you're really into the nitty-gritty of language and things. I think you would love that work group. Next work group is special projects, which is like the fun work group. They get to do all the special stuff that comes to our table that really doesn't have a catching place, that we kind of throw at you guys and say, hey, you guys take this on. And they have shined recently, reinvigorating our Golden Paintbrush Award. And I will let you guys take it away with that update.
Yeah, well, we did get somewhere with the Golden Paintbrush Award, which is an award that existed a while ago for people who made a special contribution to public art, an admirable contribution. And John Kotarski suggested we revive it, so we have. But I would like to now pass it over to Sarah Fuller, who's been taking the whole thing on her shoulders recently, so she's probably got more updates than I have.
Well, and Vanita has been pivotal in this process. So what we've been working on is working with the city's IT department. Vanita's been doing that on putting together a digital packet of our nominations, which have been sent out to our judges. Some of our judges have had an issue accessing them. So we are going to reach back out and try and get the IT problem solved. So Vanita and I are on that. And then we've sent out a doodle poll to make sure that we can determine a meeting time for all of our judges to hopefully meet in one meeting where we can accomplish actually selecting our award recipients. So we're looking at next week or the following week to have that meeting take place. And grading criteria has been given to the judges as well. So our main focus is going to be making sure that everyone has actually been able to access that digital nominations packet and then actually be able to then complete all of the grading criteria before we have that meeting so that we can move through it quickly and have those nominations ready to go. Something else exciting, and I forgot to take it home with me today because I wanted to show you guys via Zoom, but we do have the awards also created. Those are the 4x8 Burton Tower tiles that will be ready for our recipients of the award. And then, of course, the next thing that the special projects group, as well as myself and Vanita, will meet to discuss will be our People's Choice Award, which we have decided we will choose the People's Choice Award from the grouping that our judges nominate. So we're going to give less options just in the for practicality reasons, so that we can get that decided and then announced, and then hopefully generate even more buzz for next year's Golden Paintbrush Award. Does anyone have any questions? Great.
Just be sure you share that with us so we can all vote and share it with all of our friends to vote as well. Awesome. Are there any other portions or projects you guys are working on and special projects that we should talk about?
I think one of the things we're waiting on is for more information about the new city flag idea. But I think we have to get sort of instructions via the mayor or something to decide. Craig seems to know something about that.
Go for it, Craig. Oh, you're muted, Craig.
And switching from Teams to Zoom back and forth, the mute buttons in different locations. What I know is what I don't know. I do know that Sarah Higgins has prompted the mayor a number of times. We have a resolution drafted and to him if he wants to bring it to city council. So it is out of staff's hands at the mayor's office.
Great. Sophie.
I just had another thought, which is if the Pickle Street people aren't doing their mural, that maybe we could somehow take it up and make it happen some other way, if that space is already kind of allotted and agreed to.
There, if I may, there is space on the Allen Creek berm wall. They were filling in for lack of funding. The Allen Creek berm opening project went way over budget, and it consumed up the money that was being allocated toward art. So we have to explore if we can squeeze out some quarters and dimes and nickels to get that art funded again. Okay.
So it was about the funding, not that they'd gone to a different city and were doing a different thing.
Well, we were slating them to fill that space, yes. Okay. But they were raising their own funding in their proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a sense of how much money is needed for that?
I don't off the top of my head. You know, the question is, what are we spending on the water treatment plant stairway mural? It would be somewhere in that same vicinity of value.
I think that was about 12,000, correct? I think.
Yeah, it's not a huge sum of money, so I don't think all is lost at this point. I think the disputes that are going on the contract have to settle down, and then, well, once the dust is settled, go looking for the money.
Okay. Youth outreach work group.
Which I think is just me, right? Although because I lost my other members, but I would love to have some more people join me. And like Sarah said, with the beginning of the school year, I think this would be a great way to involve some more youth, or involve youth, period, in our group. So, yeah.
I'm nominating Jamal.
You what? What, Sophie?
I'm nominating Jamal in his absence.
Well, and Santa's not here anymore either. I thought she was on that group or showed interest.
I thought that the last time we met, we talked about the fact that, you know, I joined it with both Jonah and Mary, and that we were looking for other people to join. So,
okay.
And you know what else I really would like is to maybe not tonight, but maybe at our next meeting, kind of go back, since I wasn't a part of when that group was formed, just kind of the initial vision for those people that were a part of that. I mean, I get that we want to involve, I'm thinking high school students, college students, I don't know, high school students in our group, but just like how that all came to be, since I wasn't on the commission then. And I know that IPSI has a similar role that some of their students play. So anyway, that's just some background info before I move ahead with that.
So I would say the background was from several years ago that when that work group was created, the initial intent was to have youth voices on our commission, which evolved, and the conversation went back and forth between voting or non-voting. I know that Travis was saying that he was working with another commission who was doing similar work, bringing on some youth for non-voting. So he might have some good insight on how that went or how they're going about that.
Is Travis a part of this group?
Travis is our city council liaison.
Was he on the youth leadership though?
So our city council liaison doesn't usually sit on working groups. He talked about being interested in that working group though, I remember.
Okay. So maybe I can reach out to him. Okay.
And though, I mean, I think it kind of evolved from that to supporting a project and doing a project with youth, predominantly because of Mary's association with Neutral Zone. So it somewhat will be, I think, project based. It could be related to Youth Art Month. You know, I know you're deeply involved with that. So supporting those efforts in some way when those things come about with Main Street, et cetera, that would make sense.
Right. Okay. Maybe you and I can talk offline too about it. Okay.
Sure.
Perfect.
Any questions or further comments about our working groups? Okay. That is the last item on our agenda. Before we adjourn, do folks have anything they want to share, either personal or professionally, related to the arts or not? Sarah?
I had, and I actually probably should have added it to the agenda, but just a little update that I was able to sit in on the alleyway project, the presentation that we had from Jason Ennis. So that has moved forward. I was able to vote on a few submissions, and that was all monitored with the Ann Arbor Arts Center. And there are some really fabulous, really creative projects that were incorporated in this, and I cannot wait to see this come to life. There are multiple locations in Ann Arbor that are suitable for these projects, and you know, I think we've done the voting, and it will just be contacting those artists and making sure that it will fit within the stipulations of those alleyways, whether they're pedestrian only or whether they also serve as service roads and whatnot. So be on the lookout. I will definitely, as it continues to get updated, I will update our group as well. It's going to be really cool. So I'm excited to see it come down the line.
Cool. I'm excited to see that project happen too. I will share a personal update. So my son is quarantining right now. They had a COVID case at his camp. So he's home this week and he was bored and he wanted to make money. And so he was like, well, what can I sell? Can I sell some lemonade? And we don't have any lemonade. So he decided to sell his artwork. He set up a little table and he was going to ask $50 for each of his pieces, but I talked him down to 10 cents and put out a tip jar. So that was fun. That was part of our afternoon today. He had his own little art fair booth. We didn't get a whole lot of foot traffic on our street, and he was pretty disappointed it wasn't art fair traffic, but you know, he made a couple bucks and he got a monster truck at Meyer later. So it was a success. Peggy, you're muted, hon.
I know. I just wanted to piggyback off that, creating your own art. And Sarah mentioned the Ann Arbor Arts Center. They've done an amazing job of having art created around our town during the pandemic. And if you are out and about, I know we do have some public listening, they have a free art book that you can pick up. It's for kids at the Art Center. And it's a great guide that you can use to walk around and look at the public art. It's actually geared more towards really young kids, but talks about the symbols that the artists have used. And I just think it's a great intro to young children about public art. So I wanted to give them a plug, and the book is free. Pick it up at the Art Center.
Yes, and it's an idea we can piggyback off of at some point for advocacy and communication and ideas for sure.
And congratulations, Allison, on another successful Ann Arbor Art Fair.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. We were very excited. We had really great attendance. You know, we were talking earlier about people being eager to get out and support the arts, and they were eager. They were here, and even on the rain days. So thank you. Yeah, it was a great fair. Sophie.
Yeah, today I had first meeting to prepare for the October West Side Art Hop, which was so exciting because I'm having 2 helpers this time, and last time it was just me. So I'm very excited about that, and we should be able to do something much more big and amazing and well attended, I hope.
Awesome. Do you have dates yet?
October 16th, 17th.
October?
Yep.
16 or something. Great. All right. Well, with no other updates, do I have a motion to adjourn? Sarah, do I have a second? David, all in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Oh, okay, motion passes. Have a great evening, everybody. I'll see you soon.